Hello, everybody. This is Fun with Relux. Hi, thanks for being with us. This is episode number 31, and today it's about Revit. That's why we have not Klaus here. So this is Matthias. Hi, Matthias.
Hi, everybody.
And Matthias is our developer dealing mostly with Revit. And today we will check not just Revit, we will check today the emergency part. We have a new emergency module in our Revit plugin, and we will have a hands-on and demonstration what is possible now in our plugin since the last update. This is a couple of weeks ago, and this is a lot of emergency stuff, close to what we have in desktop now, also reflected in Revit. And that's why we have Matthias here, because Matthias is the best to demonstrate the stuff, because he is really deep involved into this. And Matthias, something to say before we start?
No.
No? Okay. Let's go directly in, because we have really a lot of stuff to show. That's why I skip this presentation here and activate the screen sharing again. And now you should be able to see what Matthias is showing us.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to show you new features in RELUXCAD for Revit to do the emergency calculation, emergency planning in Revit. First of all, we see a new button in the ribbon, where we clustered all the emergency functionality here, and then gonna activate emergency mode for now and get access to all the emergency tools, like for example the emergency object, which will be shown here. Let's remove Luminaires for now. We see all the emergency measuring phases here, emergency signs, and also 3D objects, to which I will come back later. But for now, let's start with the measuring areas. We have different possibilities to create anti-panic areas. The pick phase tool, where we can select phase to create an anti-panic area from, or draw them manually. Also the room tool, where we can select a room. And
I guess this is the favorite option, to have the room, because anti-panic is mostly down to the complete room or an area, and I guess this is the best option. It's possible just to select the room and then have it activated. No, to select everything.
Yes, right? Exactly. We can, or we have to select the room element at least, but it doesn't matter if there are other things selected as well.
What happens if I have multiple rooms selected?
Then it creates for all the selected rooms an anti-panic area.
Good.
I'm gonna do it here a second time. And let's remove or hide the furniture for now. Now we also need some luminaires to do the calculation. All the luminaires loaded into the project will be shown here in the Luminaire browser. I can get an emergency luminaire from ReluxNet, for example, and select here. Or maybe not.
Maybe no luminaires available.
There should be one. I guess it's more a lack of.
This is internet. Yeah.
The internet.
Is there some outdoor?
Yeah, it's almost the same, just for floor.
Okay.
But we can add them on the ceiling as well.
Okay. Experiment.
Yeah. This one has a measured photometric for the emergency mode.
Yep, we can see it here in green. There's an LDC especially for emergency. This is the best. If we have this kind of data, this is the best you can get, because you have really just for emergency and LDC, which we can see here.
This one.
Great. We have also the similar forms as we have in Relux Desktop. So it's familiar to you if you have worked with emergency in desktop before. The same thing. And also it's also possible to have the luminaires in addition for emergency lights. So we can take any luminaire which you have in the project.
It doesn't matter if they're from ReluxNet or if we build our own family, or simply import an LDC file. We can select the use for emergency or normal artificial lighting, and just have to set the luminous flux, the
flux for the emergency.
Yeah, the luminous flux for the emergency.
This could be found in data sheets normally if the product is available also for emergency situations. You can also, by the way, you can drag and drop just an OLED file or an IS file down to this Luminaire browser, and then it appears as a Luminaire with photometric and everything, and then you can also select it as an emergency.
Exactly. Then in this room, I already did normal artificial calculation, and that's why I have some luminaires here, and I can now activate them for the emergency mode or emergency case, and select the room, do the calculation.
And then it does just the emergency calculation.
Exactly.
With an emergency room tag, as result.
That's when I use the calculator in the emergency tab. This one's still only for normal artificial calculation. But I can also add luminaires manually. This time I'm going to use the one only for emergency calculation. And I'll switch back to the floor plan. What we also have is the room manager, just for the emergency mode.
So an emergency room manager.
Where we see the emergency calculation results. And we can also start the calculation here and get the results.
So on the selected rooms, you have to select the rooms, and the selected rooms will be calculated with this calculation button. Okay.
Here, we have some areas where we don't have
luminaires yet.
Luminaires yet, exactly. We can also select many rooms here, or just select all of them and do the calculation all together. You can also show the results as false colors. Those luminaires seems to be a bit weak. That's why we have
this is the outer one, I guess. This is not really
exactly.
But doesn't care. So we can see what happens if you do not reach the values.
And another possibility is to show the boundary lines, where we see here this area we reached the standards,
and here
but
not.
Here not. And about the standards can be seen here. So far, we used the EN 8038. Thank you. But you can also change the values, nominal values here.
So if you have a national standards or something, or local standards, you can change here the minimum values for escape routes and anti-panic surfaces.
but we also implemented a tool to make this way simpler to this planning. We have the tool live results, which gives us real-time, which is real-time calculations and gives us feedback immediately.
Yep.
For this, I also need an anti-panic area here. Can then select it and start the live results. And we see so far everything is red. And when we activate one of those luminaires here, it changes to yellow, which means we reached the minimum illuminance here, but not the diversity on the whole surface. So, and on the red part, we did not reach the minimum illuminance.
Yeah.
When we reach both the diversity and the minimum illuminance, it should turn green. Yeah, exactly.
Good, good. This is quite handy. Yeah.
Can also add additional luminaires or just move them around a little bit and visualization.
You can instantly see what happens. Yeah. As this works analog to what we have in Relux Desktop with this live results. Also same button, same symbol, so easy if you have done it before in desktop. But I have to say this kind of features is really helpful in a Revit environment. So it's great to have it here directly.
Yeah. So far we've only worked with horizontal measuring areas. You can also create vertical areas. For example, when we have fire extinguisher or something like that, which should be highlighted here. You can get 3D objects from ReluxNet. Great.
Okay. There are some issues with the ReluxNet with 3D objects at the moment.
Just tried it
to enter directly with 3D objects
minutes ago.
It's maybe in timeout. Yeah, normally you enter with this button ReluxNet directly in the emergency 3D objects of our ReluxNet 3D objects. So it's some kind of a shortcut. If you have it in this way we have it now, you can also enter normally the ReluxNet, go through 3D objects. There is an section, but the section seems to be empty for this computer at the moment. But let's take an flower or something, and if there's there's no objects available at the moment.
Sorry for that. So you can imagine that we place the fire extinguisher.
Let's imagine that we have there a fire extinguisher, and then we can create a new anti-panic area or a measuring area, which is horizontal.
Exactly. You can use the standard draw tools from Revit to draw the area, and it gets the orientation that the host we draw on has, or the plane.
Yeah.
Then go back to the room manager and start the calculation.
I have to say the start of the calculation out of the room manager is more convenient as to select the room and hit the calculation button. I really like the room manager calculation approach.
We also get the results right here.
You have the results here. You can select what kind of rooms you want to calculate. And here it's not enough energy on the fire extinguisher.
Yes, exactly, which lays here. So can simply add
another emergency luminaire
here.
And give it the next try.
Now it should fit, I guess.
Yep. Oh, it's way too high, but okay, it's a minimum value. Too close to an emergency line, but it's okay. So everybody is seeing the fire extinguisher on the wall. This is also one of the newer features in RELUX Desktop, to have horizontal emergency areas for fire extinguishers, but also for all kind of alert buttons, switches, also all kind of facilities you have on the wall which you need to see in terms of emergency. So health packs, whatever.
Then we also can create escape routes here.
Most important for all kinds of emergency situations is the escape route. Escape route first. Anti-panic is something more on the side if you have large areas, but the real story is the escape routes.
We draw the center line here and then get an escape route in the size, the width we defined here. So
it's by default 2 meters, and you similar like in desktop, you draw a polyline, and in the end you get the escape route according the line. Here with 2 meters. 2 meters is a good default. There's also I guess depending on the standard, there's a minimum. In Germany there's a minimum which is an escape route. I guess it should not be really more lower than 2 meters, maybe 1 meter, but then it's not any escape route anymore after a certain width.
Okay. To add luminaires for emergency luminaires for this escape route, we would have to switch to the ceiling plan, which makes it a bit difficult to find the center line of the escape route. So therefore, we can automatically place the needed amount of luminaires for the escape route. According to EasyLux, which you can see here. And now we need 2 luminaires to reach 1 lux on the central axis.
This is dynamic. If you want to have a higher minimum value, you get more luminaires. So if you have
yes,
2 minimum,
but I guess we need
calculation time.
Many more. Oh no.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice to see. Yeah.
Exactly. So we can switch here.
The amount we need.
Yeah. Exactly.
Good.
Then we apply them and go back to the room manager
for the results.
Calculate it. Lobby.
And yeah,
it fits.
Fits well. Yeah, fits really well.
It's for the central axis and also for the surface.
Yeah.
To guide the people working in this office to the escape routes and to the escape door, we need some emergency signs. We have the possibility to add emergency signs to the luminaires.
Also to any luminaire again. So any luminaire can have an emergency sign.
Exactly. Or we can simply use the emergency signs from emergency objects. We have to place them in the ceiling plan otherwise they would lay on the floor. Need the one which shows to the left. Add it here.
You hit the space bar to rotate it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Exactly. It's 45 or 90 degree when you hit space bar.
And how to get the doors?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, here in the ceiling plan, I cannot see the doors for now, but yeah, it would be helpful for the emergency signs. We have to change the cut plane of the view to a height which cuts the doors.
So how deep we can look into the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now
we
also see the doors.
Good.
To know if this emergency sign is visible for all from everywhere in this room, we can show or visualize the visibility area. You see now this sign is seen from everywhere here in this area. So it's not enough to reach
to cover the whole room.
Exactly.
With visibility. This is a really simple formula which you can find in the EN 1838. There's a formula which calculates the visibility range of an emergency sign depending on the height of the emergency sign. So the higher, then the more distance you can see the sign. And this can be here visualize with this area, and you can also change it that we get it.
By default, it's 15 centimeters, but you can switch it to 20, and then we cover the whole area here. There are a few limitations. It works with the room boundings. That's just because then we can perform the calculation fast enough to visualize it in this way.
You can see it here on the corridor, no? on the hallway. So there is another room, and the room is blocking the area.
Exactly, with the virtual room separators here. And then we need to do some manual calculations. Yes, then at the end we need some result sheets. We have a few here, like for example the list of all the measuring areas grouped by room and floor, with the calculation results and the nominal values. This is a Revit schedule, which can be used by another plugin or just be computed further. You can also create a plan view. You select the view first with all the emergency areas. We see here we reach the standards, but not in this one.
Can we have the false colors in this view?
Yes, we can switch here to false colors in every view, and go back to boundary lines. Then we can combine these views on a sheet. It depends a bit on the size of the project. Sometimes we have to arrange it a little bit different or change scale. And you see the boundary line view here. And we switch back to false colors, it also changes on the sheet.
Okay. So it's a normal Autodesk view box, view area, and there's a luminaire list and a results list. So these are the 3 elements here in the on the sheet. Okay. Good. Classical.
Yeah. So I guess those were the new features we have here for the emergency calculation.
Good. Nice work. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Matthias. We have also before we have this episode, we got an email with a question about this topic, because we announced the topics of our episodes a couple of weeks before we do it on our website. And there was a question regarding the emergency measuring areas for staircases, and this fits well to our last episode, which we had about staircases. And in the last episode about staircases, you have seen that we have all kinds of different ways to measure and to have values on staircases. And in Revit, it's like the same. So Matthias, how would you have values out of a staircase?
Yeah, actually, it's a bit complicated indeed, especially because of the view handling and all this stuff in Revit. And until now, we don't have a real specialized tool to calculate staircases, but what we can do for now is, for example, create a 3D view here and add Informatik areas with the pig face.
Yeah. By the way, it's not an Informatik area, it's always an escape route in staircases, because it's in traffic area where you literally escape and we're not have an independent situation. So that's why you can here just have the pig face tool of an independent, but you have to have the values, so not a half of a lux and 1 lux minimum value to be aware of. But it's a nice way to have at least the areas of the single steps available.
And we can also change nominal value.
Yeah. So in this situation, here, you should have 1 for anti-panic surfaces if you have just a staircase. So, but this is something which we develop, which we have on our to-do list to investigate in Revit more about staircases in general, for making calculation areas, easy handling, maybe some fancy tools which helps you to get staircases done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and we can also place a luminaire. I've seen you want to put in a luminaire into it.
Yeah, not really wall mounting luminaire.
Yeah, it's just as an example.
So. I'm a software developer, not lighting designer. So,
but
hopefully I'm excused. And we can start do the calculation. Go back to the 3D view. I'm gonna find the correct one. Yeah, here, and then show, for example, the false colors.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. This luminaire is not the right one. That's why we have this red area. It's too spotty for the situation, and it's also hell of glaring, I guess, in real life. But this is a way to have staircases, at least the minimum.
There's also one thing. Sorry for interrupting. One thing to keep in mind when working with staircases. For the calculations, we considered the room element, space or room element, And when you select the room elements here, where is it? Somewhere here. Yeah, it only goes from first to second floor, and to do calculation for the complete staircase, you can add another room element or just expand this one here, and then consider the complete room. For exports to RELUX Desktop, we can select the option to use the unbounded room height. Then the plugin won't stop on ceilings or floors.
This is good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just until we have developed this additional staircase tool.
Yeah. Okay, good. Jim, thanks for the presentation. Are you done?
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Nice one. So let's go slowly to the questions, because it's time to do the question. I just need to again to hit the mouse button and to stop the screen sharing. But before we go to the question, I have two smaller things to announce. First one is we have here special offer for self-studies. We offer right now for free the self-study of the ReluxCAD for Revit, so our plugin in Revit. So this is now available for a couple of weeks, so till June or something. We have a free the free access to the self-study course. And we have a new self-study course created quite fresh with this extra features. And this new and fresh emergency Revit self-study course is now cut to the half in price. So the full course, which is normally about close to 100 Swiss francs for the course, it's now cut to the half. And also just for a couple of weeks, for a couple of months, maybe to June. And yeah, so use this opportunity and get yourself self-studied, trained in this. And there you have training material, video guidance, and then you can do the same step by step what you have seen here for Revit and also for emergency light. And second announcement, we are on the Light in Building at Sunday this week, so end of this week. There is the Light in Building happening in Frankfurt in Germany, and we are there. And a lot of our people, I will be there. A lot of RELUX personnel will be on the trade fair, and yeah, maybe we can see each other if you also be there and have contact and discussions about everything about lighting. Yeah, these were my two announcements. Yeah, let's go to the questions. Maybe we have some. Let's figure out what we have. Okay, I can see something. It's really sometimes messy here. Okay. First one is 1 second. Always the same. Okay. How it does work in the staircase? All the floor levels are steps calculated. Yeah, this questions came before we had this topic, so this I guess is covered. Yeah, you have to be aware of the dimensions of the room in height and deep, and then we have this picking tool of areas. We have this pick phase element also in the normal artificial lighting calculation. It's also maybe a helper, but if you deal with emergency, the emergency pick is better because the calculation core is then especially used for emergency with direct part and so on. So this is a bit of different of the normal calculation. Okay, then it's possible to build a vertical reference plane into a family. For example, every time you place a fire alarm system, manual brake class unit, it automatically processes and reference them for a good question that we have and that we can put in family this area. Is it possible?
So the measuring area
Yeah, you have this vertical meshing area which you created that
yes,
you can
actually,
put it into the family file. Yeah.
Actually, this already came up some time ago, and yes, I think this would be a very good addition and would be possible to implement.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it will be fast. You just put the file signature in it, and then you have already the calculation area.
Exactly.
Good. Good question. Next one, for covered car parks where the floor can be sloped in several directions at the same time and space are hard to define effectively. Can RELUX for Revit now handle this type of environment? Does RELUX or Revit use MEP spaces for architectural rooms? In brackets, ideally, it should be either, both. Can RELUX for Revit import non-RELUX luminaire types without work around as was previously the case? Couple of questions. Let's try getting one by one. Can we deal in RELUX with curved spaces, sloped direction, car parks? I guess
I would say yes, but at the end it gets split in triangles, so it would take a long time to calculate, but it is possible.
So all kinds of structures can be calculated,
and we can also define the detail level of the export. Talking about the export to RELUX desktop, we can lower the detail level to get not that much triangles, but it would still end up in a longer calculation time.
But in general, it's possible. Give it a try, and if it's too much information, but technically it's possible to have all kinds of surfaces and shapes. Does RELUX for Revit uses MEP space or architectural rooms? I guess yes, and switch, if I remember correctly. So you can use it both, and you can switch it on and off, both of it, and you can say, okay, I just interested in MEP or just interested in architectural. You can have it both and also both selected, I guess.
No,
just one selected.
Yeah, just one selected, because otherwise, when you have both, in general, you have spaces or rooms in the architectural model and spaces in your MEP model. But when you have both, you can have an architectural room and an MEP space in the same room volume, and then it gets listed twice in the room manager, for example, which doesn't really make sense. That's why we have this switch.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm convinced. Thanks. Can RELUX for Revit import non-RELUX luminaire types without the workaround? I wasn't sure that it was a workaround, but at the moment you can throw whatever you have, OIM files, IES files, worlds, GLDF, whatever you have, you can just throw it in the Luminaire browser in RELUX for Revit, and it's a Luminaire, and you can use everything, own family files, everything which has some kind of LDC. Can be calculated and can be emergency light and can be emergency signed. So it's really wide open for everything. Right?
Yeah.
Will the recorded video will be shared for the attendees? Of course. As any episode of RELUX on Revit, you can find these episodes on YouTube. Just put in the search query "fun with RELUX" or RELUX or something, then you will end up with a lot of results in YouTube. Give us a couple of hours to upload this file from today. You can also have a summary and a structured review of our last episodes on relux.com/funwithrelux. Then you found also all the episodes with a description what happens, so you can check it again what you have seen today. Is this available for external calculations? External luminaires, external structures, but this is an internal calculation, so it's our calculation core. So it's not possible to connect it to another calculation core, but I guess it's not the question.
I guess it's more for exterior scenes, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
This is for emergency, it's not possible.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Not yet, I'd
maybe.
say, but you can at least export the exterior scene to RELUX desktop and do the emergency calculation there. But I guess
can't you create an virtual room around the outdoor space and then have calculation of the scenery?
Yes. Okay. This would be possible when you create virtual room separators.
So auto emergency is for me something like a staircase, an outdoor staircase, which is outdoor, which you pops to a building for an emergency, that you can use it. And this is some kind of an outdoor emergency situation I have in mind. So of course on street or on pathways you do not have emergency. So you are outdoor. You need not to run outdoor or to escape. You are already outdoor. But in the staircase situations, and that's there I can imagine to create in some kind of a virtual MVP space around this, and then you can calculate it. Okay.
So you don't really need walls. No, you can just use the virtual room separators.
Good. Good. Next question. Does RELUX for Revit calculate the rooms, including the effects of solid objects like furniture, stumps, pipes, block the light? I guess yes. Yeah.
Yes, actually there are 3 categories so far. Furniture, architectural elements, columns, stairs, obviously, but for the objects, for the other object categories, it's casework, plants, planting, and furniture.
These are blocked.
Yeah, you can decide whether you want to include them in the calculation or not.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you have an object from a different category, you can just change the category to furniture, for example, for the calculation, and then you can include them. But I guess it will there will be more categories integrated in the future.
Good. So the user can judge if it's be included or not in a way with the category. Good. What is the best way to use the combination of both escape routines and anti-panic, like the room on the top with the right and escape route on the bottom? Mostly the most realistic design would be that the room has only office lighting without an emergency module and a few emergency light on the bottom. Normally any anti-panic area should connect it to be an escape route, because the meaning of an anti-panic is that you found your way in calm to an escape route. So this should be connected. This was an example not connected in a way. I would in reality connect this both in a way, and it's absolutely possible to manual change these areas to what you are in need of it, or to add a small piece of rectangle of anti-panic to a low button to have the gap of the wall to the area covered in this area. For example, there are multiple ways to do it, but yes, we have to have a concept. In general, for lighting, I will not put too much time in it, but in general, you need to follow some kind of an emergency concept as a lighting designer. You should not do the emergency concept by your own as a lighting designer. This is another skill, another discipline. You should follow what is the emergency escape plan for the building, and then you follow it with luminaires and light and with these areas. In short, this is a topic for this own.
Yeah, but and about luminaires, it's no problem when you mix in one room, when you mix normal artificial luminaires and add separate emergency luminaires to the room. It's just when you do the emergency calculation, only the emergency luminaires will be considered. Yeah.
Super. And and we are done. There's a couple of more questions, but we have not the time. The time is so it's up. So thanks much, Matthias. Thanks much for your attendance. The video is available soon on YouTube. Yeah, announcement of the next episode. I almost forgot. Next episode is on the 21st of March, and it's about deep settings and sheets in Relux Desktop, presented by Klaus. So Klaus will show us what kind of deep settings you have and what kind of sheets and shortcuts you can probably use in Relux Desktop. So next episode, 21st of March, here to the same times. See you on the trade fair probably, and have a good time. Bye.
Bye.